The start, the road to infidelity. Quick breakdown, my husband and I met 12 years ago. I was 19 and he was 22. We were both in college with high hopes of becoming medical professionals. When I was 25, we got engaged but weren't able to move in together due to a lack of finances and strict parents. Parents who don't believe in moving in together until marriage. At the age of 26, I moved out of state to complete my lifelong dream of getting my degree. This is when I really experienced college life. I made a lot of friends, traveled, had fun, and I got a lot of attention from men and I seemed to like it. We had a group of about 8 close friends, and some of my friends would use dating apps to meet men. Since I would get a lot of attention in public, one of my friends jokingly said we should use my photos to meet guys. I laughed it off. Some time passed and out of curiosity I thought I'd use my photos to see what type of messages I would get. It was all for fun really. I was so stupid for having fun on those apps while still being engaged. I never met any of those men in person, although I did speak to one over the phone for a while, yet cut most ties after I graduated and moved back. And I have to say I did play along and say some strong things to this man who I was talking to, which made him fall for me. He knew I was involved. I was stupid honestly, it was like I was playing games. Once I got back in town after graduation, I was planning our wedding, and my fiancé knew nothing at the time of my past actions. We get married, move in together, and all is going well really. We have minor issues here and there with his very picky and particular personality, but I'm used to it. It pisses me off at times, but I deal with it. At this point I've been working my dream job for about 3 to 4 months now and I hate it. It's super stressful and I dread work each day. I find out I'm pregnant, which is a positive, but I end up miscarrying at 6 weeks, which breaks my heart. My husband takes it more lightly and just says we will try again. I take it more extreme and find myself sad and confused. I end up going back on these dating apps and talking to random men and actually meeting up with them. I met up with 3 men in the midst of 3 to 4 weeks. I ended drinking with one and kissing him. The other 2 were just a one-time meeting, talking type of thing. Shortly afterwards, my husband goes through my phone and finds all the hidden apps I had. He reads everything, sees photos I would send them. I never took photos together with any of the men though. I denied everything because I was so ashamed. My husband was so hurt and I'm surprised he didn't physically do something to me that night he found out. He did call my father at 2 a.m. but then blamed it as an accidental dial. He didn't know what he wanted to do regarding us and tried to make it work. But it's been over 3 months since the incident and he told me he can never trust me again and that he'd have to hang his head low for the rest of his life if he were to stay with me. I know he loves me, but he also said he lost all respect for me. I'm at such a loss. Please don't bash me for all the immature stuff I've done in the past. I've never slept with anyone else but my husband, but he doesn't believe me. The furthest I've went is kissing, although I have talked to a lot of men. I'm here because the past 3 months have been so depressing and I had another bad breakdown a little while ago. With my stressful work and coming home to an even more stressful home environment has truly made me hate my life. No one knows of my actions but him and his best friend whom he told. I live with so many regrets. I cry every day. I've thought of ending my life, but I won't. I'm just so ashamed of myself. I can't tell my family because they think everything is great and that I'm about to get pregnant any second. Little do they know, my husband has ups and downs. There was a point he was being sweet and actually wanted to have children with me again. And then there are times where he hates my guts. Lately, it's been the latter. He says all my crying and apologizing is futile, and that I am naive to think we will work again. I just turned 33 years old. I don't have any children. I hate my career that I worked my ass for, and I yet still don't own a home living in life. What a waste of life sometimes I feel. If we do divorce, I probably won't find someone until I'm 37, and who knows about having children at that age. I've wanted kids ever since I was 22 and it's like I did this to myself. I feel like I live a nightmare every day, but it's my reality. I'm so sincerely sorry for what I've done. I just don't want to lose my husband and my family. I don't want to let everyone down. What do I do? I know I probably don't deserve my husband anymore. How do I cope? Is there hope for us maybe? Anyone been through something similar? Comment. In my opinion, a man and woman need to worship each other to feel happiness. When someone is properly worshipped, all their needs are met and they don't stray. The problem is that there are some funky needs out there. Your perfect match is someone you can worship effortlessly. That's because you know you are getting everything you need in return. So you both have balance. Okay, so this is idealistic, but I still believe in it. If only one person worships the other, then there will be only one happy person in the home, and that isn't the one doing the worshiping. OP responds, absolutely right. I do love the excitement and challenge of first meeting someone. Have I ever tried to find that in my husband? Honestly, I haven't tried. I'm just so used to his personality and how he is, I don't even try. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I strayed because I felt like I wasn't worshipped enough. He probably feels the same about me. Honestly, I am telling the truth. I haven't had slept with any of those men and I will gladly take a polygraph. Thank you for giving me this option, as I think he will be very surprised that I would do something like this. Anyone recommend one in lay? I did some research and some range from hundreds. Does it really matter? The end for you is 2 divorces and being 60 years old dating some loser you met on an app. This really hit home for me. And for these problems you were seeking out strange men's attention to validate you. You are unhealthy in that you use it as a coping mechanism, much like an alcoholic. You drank and drove and had an accident, but you haven't killed anyone yet, assuming you are telling the truth. This is your come to Jesus moment. Hope you change. Speaking of that, sounds like you are religious. Did you learn nothing from that? Maybe you should have listened to your parents. You say they would be pissed. Maybe it's because they don't want to see you ruin your life, other people's life. I am not going to tell you to tell them, but adults face the consequences of their actions. They live authentic lives, they don't hide from them. Isn't it time you faced this as an adult? Just saying. I feel like there is no hope, but I'm going to work hard and start being an adult. No, we are not in counseling. I'm going to start though. My marriage is not arranged, but I am with someone from my own culture, and my parents are extremely old-fashioned in culture. Family is everything for them, so I always wanted to keep them happy in that regard. My brother is divorced and it has impacted my family tremendously for the past 20 years. I even remember it being such a huge tragedy when I was in middle school when it happened, so keeping my parents happy is important for me. I think I resented the fact that my husband wasn't able to financially provide and have a home for us early on when we got engaged, and that I had to wait to have children, so honestly, I still have internal resentment from the past. I think this is why when I moved out of state I didn't care and changed as a person. And maybe have resentment about the miscarriage thing too. It's a combination of things. I always feel like I should be so much further along in life than I am now, and every day I put myself down and become very negative about this. From my understanding, these other men were all single. None were married or had a GF. I honestly feel really bad because I played along with many of them, and one of them in particular really got attached and emotional and hurt. I'm the one who needs to be exposed and needs major help. No, I haven't seen a doctor, and I'm not depressed, more so ashamed of my actions. Planning on getting that polygraph this weekend hopefully, regarding my personality and so forth. I never really thought of this, but I guess I do have an addictive personality. It's all up to me to change. Doing some self-reflecting, I've also realized I'm a pretty selfish person. Working on it. Update. My husband does not want to spend the rest of his life with me any longer. He's made it very clear, no matter what, that sanctity and trust will forever be gone. I guess I never thought this would happen. I always get my way, not this time. I try my best not to cry, but it's difficult. I believe my actions were like an addiction, similar to addicts who might do drugs or drink alcohol. I believe one can be sober forever though. It's a commitment one makes not only to others, but more so to themselves every single day. To those who say, once a cheater, always a cheater, I disagree. If only I could do this all over again. I'm at a loss. I'm not sure what my future holds, but I do know I will never do the childish, immature crap I did in the past to anyone again. I hurt everyone around me, and I will live with the guilt for a very long time. Close to 13 years I threw away. Although we are done, he wants me to accompany him to our mutual friend's home tomorrow, who just had a new baby. I don't understand what the point is of going if we are done. He said, it's just one more day, then we will proceed with ending things. I guess that makes some sense. Oh, and he doesn't care for the polygraph. Won't change anything at this point. Comment and side story. Remember, it is not like you did this to yourself. You did do this to yourself. My wife is a pathological liar. I think you have lied a lot. Keeping those apps on your phone was a horrible lie. Meeting with men, kissing men, lies upon lies. Horrible. But it takes a psychiatrist to diagnose pathological issues, like my wife's pathological lying. After I caught my wife lying enough, the choice was, I get rid of her or we learn to control her disease. If your issue really is an addiction, please do not think you can get over it, and somehow you will be fine later on. An alcoholic cannot decide she is cured and no longer needs to be vigilant. My wife cannot decide she is cured and no longer needs to monitor. I suspect you cannot be cured. You will need to be ever vigilant. I think if you wish to try to have a faithful relationship with someone in the future, you need to let them know you have this addiction, and you need to do everything in your power to be totally transparent with them. Do not keep secrets from them. Do not allow yourself to think someone you love should not read your phone or your emails or anything and everything on your computer. My wife is tagged, so I know her every movement during the day. I have a paired phone, so I know all her texts and her phone calls. She reports her movements to me via text many times a day. I check on her physically at random times during the day on random days. I never ask her questions, because she cannot answer questions, but she can act in responsible ways. Her giving me complete knowledge of what she is doing as she does it is how I have come to feel happy with our relationship, since I cannot ask questions. It works for us. People with problems must find unusual coping methods. Do not be afraid to find what works. Accept what works, even if it is unusual. My wife is fully aware that most people who have been diagnosed as pathological liars are not able to maintain relationships, and certainly not happy relationships. She is happy and is very thankful we have found ways to make our marriage work. Her shrink seemed surprised we have found ways to cope, and she has found happiness. She decided to stop going to see them after years of therapy. None of them said her illness could be cured. So, at some point she said enough was enough. I think she spent 8 years in therapy, if I remember right. Find what works. Please do not let your addiction force you to live in a series of failed relationships. My wife fears this may be your fate if you are afraid to find unusual, creative ways to address your issue. Do not hide this from a prospective mate. Work with him to solve it and make him happy with you. End of comment. OP responds, I understand. I never had slept with anyone else though. He was at work and never knew. I would leave and come back and have dinner ready before he got home. Savage, I know. He does waver back and forth, but lately more so towards divorce. He hasn't filed any paperwork. I got kind of upset one day and pressured him because I wanted him to give me some type of hope, and I told him if he can't get the process started. And he said okay and pulled up stuff online. But that's about it. It made me cry, and I begged him for more time. I feel like I have these tendencies that need to be checked every single day. Yes, I can find someone to hold me accountable. I would probably take a pastor more seriously. Actually, I'd probably take someone I want to aspire to be like more seriously. If they held me accountable, I need to find someone like this. I need a female mentor. He is very hurt and shocked and disappointed, which he tells me every day. I feel so sad that I would do anything like this, but enough crying, I need to take action and figure out my life. I feel I need to work in seconds rather than years. It's time now. I should have been clearer. Yes, I am going to ask the questions my husband doubts me on. For example, he randomly asks me a question and gets mad and calls me a liar no matter what my answer is. Now, this is because initially when I got caught, I denied everything. And I told him this. So, since he asks me random questions and doesn't believe me, these are the questions I will do on the polygraph. The main one being that I have never slept with anyone else. Before, when I mentioned poly, he didn't care. 2 days ago, I kind of mentioned it again and he said you'll so fail, etc. So I'm going to wait and see. I need to be patient and give it time. It's been almost 4 months, I think. Honestly, I have no idea what is going to happen. Each day is a roller coaster of emotions. I'm not minimizing it. No, I didn't sleep with anyone. I think everyone is reading what I wrote wrong. Just to be clear, I did not do much. I kissed a dude when I was fairly intoxicated, and another one touched me a different time when I was intoxicated as well. That's the gist of it. I'm not trying to minimize it. That's what happened. It was stupid of me. If a man touched me a bit is considered getting physical, then I don't know. I'm trying to be positive and consistent. Time will tell. I'm finding myself to be less of a procrastinator after DD or whatever it's called on this forum. Is it Doomsday or Discovery Day? I feel like I don't want to waste time anymore. I'm more proactive in my life, not only with him but my life in general. Time will tell. 2 to 5 years is the average time I've been reading as well. I'm trying to be patient, but I think I will bring up the time factor in a nice way by the end of this year. I mentioned this to my husband yesterday. I need to water my own grass. I am truly remorseful and I am doing the work. I've been thinking about how childish and deceitful I was. The truth of the matter is, if something is causing me to be unhappy, it is my responsibility to fix it as an adult. By fixing I mean communicating my concerns, taking action towards fixing things, or if things can't be fixed, being woman enough to express this and let's say decide to leave, etc. Cheating and being deceitful is such a cowardly thing to do. A friend of mine told me about her close co-worker. It was a woman who had known her husband for such a long time, ever since they were teens. They got married mid-20s and never had kids and were living their life. At some point, the woman wanted to do more with her life and wanted to go to law school, while her husband was very happy where he was at as a social worker. They were both social workers at the time. Anyway, she ended up going to law school and becoming a lawyer, while the husband remained a social worker. She started becoming unhappy because her husband was not up to par because she was so much more educated, and they grew apart apparently, and they ended up having a divorce. She felt like she could do so much better. So here she is, mid-30s, freshly divorced. And so, she dates, and dates, and dates many different men. Men with children, men with history, etc. and years pass. Now she is early 40s, single, no children. And she was telling my friend how much she wishes her ex-husband was the last person she would have met amongst all these men, so she would have appreciated him and they would have still been married right now. The other men fulfillment thing. I think since it comes so easy, it was something I didn't have feelings attached to, and it's just something I did. A few weeks ago, my husband was even saying how what I did was not a typical cheating with one person type of thing. How abnormal I am that I didn't even have feelings attached, or how cold it was and how men are usually the player type. Honestly, it was like I didn't really care and I don't even remember stuff. Like it's not a big deal type of personality. But it really is. He was saying how men who cheat and don't care do that, and most women aren't like me. I know I messed up and I realize I hurt people's feelings, and I am working on myself as a person. Yes, it possibly gave me power. It gave me control. Easy control. It brought some type of action in my life. It seems like I like action and adventure. Clearly, I took the wrong approach in how I would seek these feelings out. It is a personal problem and I am working on it. I know today is the youngest I will ever be. I just wish I could accomplish more. I know the house will come, but I just have this emptiness, like I'm not proud of myself or something. Regarding your daughter, she is so young. You are exactly right. A dream job may not feel like a dream 15 years from now. Yes, so true. Bigger paycheck equals bigger stress. That's how I feel. I worked so hard to get here. Honestly, I've been working on a side venture that will give me some purpose. Even if it fails, currently I am passionate about it. All in all, I am grateful and blessed. I'm learning to be more productive, stop complaining, wasting time, and start taking more action to achieve whatever I want. And finding fulfillment in the small things. My husband and I had a heart-to-heart talk and I told him the stuff I did. I think he's been starting to believe me now. But regardless, I am going to get the Polly and write a letter and give it to him before Christmas. I've been making progress. I've been working really hard to be an amazing, fun, smiley, energetic, good cook, clean the housewife. I've been so good and will remain this way. 5 years later, I've been with my husband for a total of 16 years. I had some loyalty issues in 2017 while married, search my old thread, and even before that when doing long distance while engaged. The 2017 incident is where I basically spoke to many different men and met with a few when married before getting caught. I did this all after a miscarriage, not that I'm justifying it, just for context. It was very difficult, but my husband forgave me and we ended up having a little one who is almost 3 now. Couple months ago, I find myself going on dating apps again and talking to multiple men. For 4 years I kept my promise until 2 months ago. My husband finds out and is considering separation. We've been trying for another baby for almost 2 years and it's been diagnosed as unexplained infertility, which has been extremely stressful and heartbreaking for me. I honestly think it was my way of getting attention and distracting myself from stuff not happening in my life. I also need to add that I don't just talk to one man. It is multiple men at the same time. This being said, I never met up with any, just messaged and photos. What is wrong with me? I'm about to lose my marriage over some petty nonsense. Is there any way to salvage this? I feel so stupid. My husband has zero trust in me. I think I too need to change the way I think. Thankfully for your situation, you changed the first time around. For me, this isn't the first case. And it's not just one person I speak to. How did you create a safe environment for yourself to do all those things? I'm happy you and your husband reconciled and are currently stronger than ever. Good point that I reach out to others when in sorrow. I'm also discovering recently that it's more of a distraction. It's my way of distracting my mind from thinking about my problems, and instead of trying to take action towards it, I'm just allowing whatever happens happen. Words must match with actions. I hear it loud and clear. I would never show my face and I'd have to see what it's all about. It really depends on a lot of factors. And I have told him everything. When I said mostly, I meant the little details I haven't. Yes, pictures were sent, no naked ones by me at least. Yes, we texted, talked, but I never met up with anyone and that's the truth. The little details that don't even matter and I don't even remember I haven't said. I think being with someone for 16 years and practically growing up with them, you get used to it, comfortable. Have I lost attraction? Maybe. He was a bad boy when I first met him and now he's a super nice guy. Maybe I'm attracted to the bad. I just want variety and excitement in my life and I need to find other ways to get it. I need to learn to be cordial. I think I might have grown used to it. I've been doing a lot of reflecting and analyzing of my actions. Honestly, I deleted everything when I said I did and I haven't downloaded anything since then. I've been very good and focused on bettering myself and trying to show my husband I deserve one last chance. And focused on being a better mother. I keep me very busy. But I do have days where thoughts creep in, memories come up, but I try not to focus on it and let it pass. I'm channeling my energy into being a productive person rather than doing a time waste with other men. I need to think about his actions some more. He's actually the one who says I'm not the expressive one and don't say I miss you or physically show love. I probably should. It's obvious I'm searching and imagining someone, something that probably doesn't even exist. That's why I would talk to multiple people at the same time. It's the rush of something new, exciting. That's it. I'm mature enough to know what it is and why I did it. I'm mentally strong enough to not let my thoughts go that way and cause me to repeat my mistakes. The stuff that happened a few months ago was all online. A few years back it did get physical. I'm not denying that. Thrill-seeking is definitely in my nature, and believe me, I'm not bipolar. I know exactly what it is. It's the mystery, challenge, excitement of meeting new people and talking to, in the past meeting with, multiple men. I do like the variety physically, playing different roles. The point is I know why I do what I did, and what steps I need to take to never ever go down that path again. I realize that it's very unfair to my husband, but ultimately it is his decision. I will do what I can and hope we don't break up our family, but it's up to him to decide. And it's not 50-50 in my eyes. I know I do not have to find other men. I'm sure all of that can be a thrill. I know myself though I enjoy meeting new men and the variety of it. I'm really picky too, as far as me doing him with a strap on. That would never happen. I'm not into men that are into that. Nothing wrong with doing that. It's just not my style. I know myself. Bonding in forbidden places won't fulfill it. I feel like most people think me seeking other men is only for the physical. It was not. There had to be a mental pull, a whole package type of thing. I think this is why I talked to many different people, because each person provided certain good qualities. I'm over it though. I'm focused on what matters whether you all believe it or not. I have to hold myself accountable. My comment: this seems like a repeated cycle. I think OP finds her partner and life stale, and she wants something out of this ritual. I have met someone like this. It's too tiring to deal with this personality. Story 2. I am 46 years old, 47 in May. I have been married for 26 years, 3 children 24, 21 and 18, all boys. I am partner of a law firm and have been a part of the firm for 20 years now. 3 weeks ago, I admitted to my wife that I have been having an affair for the last 2 months with someone who is 14 years younger than myself. I can't forgive myself. I hate what I did. My kids won't even look at me and refuse to speak to me on the phone or even meet so I can apologize. I hurt so bad for my wife and I am so sorry for what I did. I ask myself, how could I do such a thing to my family? I can't find the answer. I want to win my wife back to the way we were 10 years ago. We have not had slept together for 6 years and probably can admit that our marriage has been quite rocky for a while. Every time I have approached the subject, she doesn't want a bar of it and is not interested in being intimate with me. Stupidly, I found intimacy elsewhere outside of the marriage and I need some guidance as to what to do. I want to be with her, but I am wondering if she wants me. Perhaps she hasn't wanted me for the last 6 years. I struggle to think about reconciling and finding that we get nowhere and continue to live in an unhappy marriage. This whole situation has turned out to be so depressing. I have tried to be affectionate, loving and intimate towards my wife and she wants nothing like that. Don't get me wrong, she loves our lifestyle as it has been quite comfortable for years. So, she enjoys spending money and traveling, but of late she has traveled without me quite a lot. Has gone with friends of hers or our boys. Before the affair, I kept getting pushed away. I love her still and I find her attractive absolutely. She is a very elegant, classy woman, but just for some reason stopped liking bonding or intimate encounters. I don't think my wife was or is having an affair. I am certain she would be. Then again, she didn't know I was having one either. I confessed about the affair because I couldn't sleep with the guilt. The longer the affair went on, the sicker I felt about how deceitful and unfaithful I had become. The other divorced her husband 4 years ago, so she is not in a relationship and knows she has connections with my wife whatsoever. Here's the thing. My wife asked me to leave. She now requested via email that she wants me to move back into the house as no one except for our kids know about the affair. Not even our neighborhood, family or hers or our friends. She made some comment in her email where she wants me to move back into the house and for me to move into the guest bedroom. She told me as well that she wants to live in the same house, so it seems our marriage is fine, but wants to be able to live her own life whilst living together and for me to do my own thing. The fact I can't understand is that she wasn't upset about my confession. In fact, she laughed and walked away and told me to get out the house and that we would talk later. Then I received the email with the content above. Update. It never passed my mind to think that my wife could be having an affair. I just find that she has become passionate about the things we own, the house we live in and the car she drives that is on lease. She happily upgrades her car every 3 years at my expense. It is things that she cares about, not people. For years right from the beginning, my work was like my second marriage. I built my way up to have the reputation and client base that I have now. Around 7 years ago I stopped working in corporate law as it took all of my time away from the marriage and from our boys. I stopped because I love my family and my wife was showing signs of being unhappy. For a few months after I stopped working in that area of law, we were fine. Bonding was great, often, and we enjoyed each other's company, and overall, the love for each other was, I suppose, the way it should be in a marriage. It wasn't long until everything stopped, which is when I noticed when I was home more and earlier. Like I said in a previous post, she is just so into what we have. At the moment I find her boring because all she wants to do is talk about renovating rooms in our house, and the latest was buying a sofa from Italy and where the leather came from, and it is just damn exhausting listening to that. This fun person and classy person have become, well, she is still classy, but boring and obsessed with objects and not living things. My comment: I'm glad to hear you feel lots of remorse for your actions. I'm sure when you were doing the deed, you didn't think it would make you feel this way afterwards, right? I said it before, infidelity is absolutely destructive to marriage. I don't know why some people just don't get that. It kills any emotion, empathy, and love a spouse had for their WS. In any case, you're going to have some seriously heavy lifting to do if you want to save this marriage.